Hi everyone, welcome to UNYA's Year 10 Forum. It's great to be joining you by clip. I'm sorry I can't be there myself. I'm really passionate about your theme today of looking at children's rights. I've had quite a big experience looking at different sort of child rights abuses over the last sort of 5 years with different aid agencies, and I'm really excited that you're focusing on that today. I guess some things with child rights that are really important to know are, when you look at the Convention on Rights of the Child, formed in 1987, it is the most internationally accepted document that we have. The only two member states that haven't signed it are the US and Somalia. However, having said that it is the most internationally accepted, what is the most difficult and perhaps the most tragic about it is that it is the hardest to enforce and it has the weakest accountability measures. And so, as a global community, we constantly need to be looking at how we make member states who have ratified CROC, as it's also known, how we make them more accountable to that document, because I'd argue that it's the most important document we have in terms of protecting children. What CROC does is it basically says that every child has a right to a childhood, that every child deserves freedom and the beauties of childhood in their life. Every child has to have a win. Every child has to have a moment in their life where they meet their future. And that moment can be, we've all had that moment where we've realised our potential and we've realised our voice. There are so many children around the world who don't have a voice and who don't, have never received any encouragement, have never really understood that they are entitled to natural rights, that they have a right to an education, to love, life, family and pleasure. Some of the pillars of the Convention on the Rights of the Child. Children in these situations, and I've met many of them in child labour situations, one boy in particular named Mohammed. Mohammed, when I met him, was 10 years old. Mohammed was working in the embroidery industry in India and had spent the last 4 years when I met him working on wedding dresses every single day for 15 hours a day, 6 days a week. Now, Mohammed understood nothing of his child rights when I met him. Every action that he did, everything he said was one of rigid servitude and devotion to his child labour employer. Now, this is a child at the age of 10, at the age for many Australian children when we're either in Year 4 or Grade 5. But for Mohammed, he has never envisaged or imagined or comprehended what an education looks like. Now, the right to education, among so many other parts of the Convention, that's core. That's what the Convention is very much built around. And so, as young people, as young Australians, and for you guys in WA, what's really important to understand about this issue is that whilst the world has agreed to protect children through the Convention on the Rights of the Child, it needs everyone in their behaviour and with their votes and their voices and their purchasing power to really uphold and protect the rights of children. The UN is the sum of its parts. We often blame the UN as the most visible world body that we have for atrocities that we see, because it is the most visible one, and it is easy to blame. I want to change that conversation. The UN, as the sum of its parts, provides us with the best mechanisms and forums through which we can protect children. If we didn't have a UN, we wouldn't have a document like the Convention that protects children's natural rights. And if we didn't have a UN, we wouldn't have the forums that we have to put a magnifying glasses to situations like Mohammed's, in India, and say that that's wrong and call for intervention and international cooperation. So I'd really like to encourage you to take up the mantle of child rights protection, and by coming to this forum today, you are doing that absolutely, and congratulations and thank you for that. And I think the best way that you can get involved and to really follow up this issue is to really get involved with your UNYA division in WA. Get behind them and what they're doing with child rights, because child rights cuts across so many different campaigns, and it can be looked at as well as like the golden thread of social justice and the child poverty sort of advocacy agenda as well. So I really encourage you to take up the issue and look at how it can be part of your life vision. If I was to say what my life vision would be, I'd love to one day walk in a world where all children, regardless of their race, ethnicity or gender, are free to just be children and to have their childhood. And that's what the Convention's all about. So yeah, please educate and empower others on the Convention and enjoy the rest of your conference. Thanks.